Friday, January 27th, we are talking camp stuff this whole thing. If you are one of the parents or the people at home watching this, yay! We're going to give you information. You can skip the parts that you find interesting if need be. Let's see, Socratic Circle, I have updated calendar over here, and so that'll hopefully give you guys information as far as what's coming up. So next week I have the grammar quiz on Wednesday that we are doing, and then Tuesday I am doing a practice quiz with you to try and help you out. Thursday, we're going to go to library. Friday, the Socratic Circle. Monday, we continue doing speeches. Tie game was cars/vehicles. I had one kid get it, not in this class, because the kid in this class didn't know how to follow directions. Where you have to have a piece of paper that's at least the size of a note card, and there were directions on there that eventually...
That would be fine.
Yeah, I was lying to you because you didn't follow the directions. That's how learning works. I know, it's the worst thing ever. Hang on, I'll pause you guys. Continue. Then, let's see, today. Our one kid that was missing this got it turned in, so go with them. No other kids that worked on that one, so then we are good to begin. On my Canvas page, you don't have to go to it now, I'm just letting you know, there is now a new button that you can hit that takes you to all the camp stuff. It's got videos, it's got the permission slips, it's got stuff for parents. So anytime parents need to know something or you want to know something, it is all on this page. You go clicky clicky, and it's going to bring you up with anything you could possibly want on there. So just telling you now, camp page, clicky clicky, you are good. Yes?
This is completely off topic, but what happens if I get up for a second time?
Well, one way to find out. Yeah.
Do it.
Do you ever phone in camp?
Oh, we just started talking. Wait. Look, we're going to talk about camps. We can talk about Gavin's answer. So now to talk about Camp Tecumseh and help you guys out. So on this one, the information that I'm going to give you guys today is for you, but also for parents. So if it helps them out, yay. Here's when we go to camp. So it is going to be in April. The first week of April is going to be spring break. We come back for a week, and then that's when we go to camp. It's going to be that third week. We leave that Monday, and we come back on that Wednesday. Globetrotters leave on Wednesday. They come back on that Friday. So we will not see Globetrotters that whole week. Stars, half of them are with us, half are with Globetrotters. So if their last name is A through K, they're with us. If their last name is L through Z, they're going to be with the Globetrotters. And so I will give you more information as we get closer to it, but that will give you an idea of when it's going to be. So it's not until April, spring break, a week, and then camp. So when we go to camp on this Monday, you are not going to first period on Monday. You will not go to any classes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. When you show up Monday morning, you will just take your giant bags of stuff, go to the cafeteria, and we'll get you on a bus, and we go up to camp. Wednesday, when you come back, you are not going to 7th period. On Wednesday, when you come back, if your parents are ready to pick you up, you get off the bus, get on a car, go home, and go take a nap. If your parents aren't here yet, you go into the cafeteria, lay down, and take a nap. And so then, even if you're Gage and you're sleepy, you get to sleep on that day. You can just come in and lay down in the hallway and be like, blah, and everything is good. So that'll give you an idea of how it's going to work. As far as having a buddy at camp goes, yes, you get to have some influence over who is going to be in your group at camp. Just like you're going to have some influence on writing down your questions on the piece of paper, so I wouldn't have to keep reminding you writing on it. Here's how it works for camp. I want you to have fun at camp. The number one way for a kid to have fun at camp is to be with a friend. I know that. So my goal is for you to be with a friend at camp. So my goal is you are going to be able to have a friend in your group. At least most of you should have a friend in your group. If you are in the good kid category, the good kid I trust category, you may have 2 to 3 friends in your group that you will get to have. If you are that rare honor society kid, you might get to have all of your friends in your group. Because honor society kids, there is a lot of work you have to do, and that means you are in my super trusted responsible group, and if you're in the super trusted responsible group, then you get to have a bunch of your friends in your group. If you are a kid who makes poor choices, then you need to be careful who you choose in your group. I will not have 2 kids in one group who make poor choices. So if you are a kid who thinks that you make choices on occasion and lose B points or struggle, I will still try to give you a friend. But if you put another kid that makes poor choices on your list, you will not be in a group with them. You need to have a good kid friend. I will put you with good kid friend. But you can't be the kid that's like, I make poor choices, and my best friend also makes poor choices, and we're going to be together, but that's not going to happen. So just giving you a heads up, allow me to be nice to you, and then you should be good. If you're a really bad kid, you're not on our team. Congratulations. I don't have any of those this year. So those are the kids that get no win in their group. Everyone that's on the Heroes team this year, my goal is to give you a friend as long as you can give me somebody to put you with. Do not list a Globetrotter, because they're not going to be there. I'll laugh at you. Do not list a star whose last name is L through Z. They're not going to be there. I'm going to laugh at you. You can only pick heroes or stars whose last name is A through K, and then you should be good. I will walk you through this at the end. That's why you have your iPad, because you're going to be typing it into Socrative, so that I can keep all that information. And you have the entire weekend to figure it out, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Oh, the other part. Here are how the 3 groups work. While you are at camp, there are 3 groups that you are going to be in. Your main one is going to be your study group. This is going to be a group of between 6 to 8 kids of both genders, dudes and chicks. This is who you are with most of the day. So you will be with them for like 8 hours of every single day, hiking, learning, being with the high schoolers and stuff like that. My goal is whoever you list as your number 1 BFF friend is going to be in your study group. The next one is going to be your dinner group, because you're going to be at a table for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This is a group of between 7 to 9 kids. In this group, this is also dudes and chicks both. I'm going to try to give you another one of your friends in that group. Your third one is going to be your cabin group. This is all the same gender, all dudes or all chicks. This is going to be a group between 8 to 12 people. And I'm going to try to give you your third friend in this group. So that way you should have 3 different friends that you get to spend time with. Your BFF is going to be with you all day. Your second BF will be with you at meals. Your third BF will be with you at nighttime. So those are the 3 groups I'm going to try. You get to list 4 friends, because that way, in case one of those does not work out, I have a bonus friend I get to put into there for you to try and help you out. So you're going to list them, and again, I'll talk about that at the end, just like you're going to write down your questions. So it costs $150 for you to go. It used to be cheaper, but everything keeps getting more expensive. This is the same way. $150 is going to take care of you for those 3 days, food, transportation, lodging, all of those different things. It's a pretty good deal to kidnap children for a whole time. I don't care about money until end of March. So if parents need time to get money, that's fine. They still have like 2.5 months to get there before we really worry about it. If money is an issue, have them contact me. We do not leave kids behind for money. So if money's a problem, they can contact me. I'll put them in contact with people. We are good. So do not worry about that. Your permission slip is much more important. The sooner I get that permission slip, the sooner I can start making your group. Because the way it's going to work is, let's say, Meow wants to be in the same group as Drinky. If Meow ends up not turning in her permission slip until late March, by that time, Drinky's group may already be filled, and now you don't get to be in that group. So the sooner you turn in your permission slip, the sooner I can put you into a group. You do not have to turn in permission slip and money at the same time. You can turn in permission slip Monday, and then turn in money March. I am fine with that. Permission slip first. Parent chaperones. If a parent goes, it costs them $50. If you're worried about me being nice to you friend-wise, have a parent come along as a chaperone. The reason being is I want to make your parent happy. And if making your parent happy means making you happy, it means I get to put friends in your group. So convince a parent to go along. If you don't like your parents, that's fine. You're not going to see them much there. While you're at camp, you only see parents at meals and at nighttime. They don't get to follow you around during the day, just like at school. It'd be creepy. So you're basically going to be at nighttime if they're the same gender as you. If you're a girl and mom goes, they stay in your cabin. If you're a dude and dad goes, they stay in your cabin. If it's the opposite gender, they don't. That's creepy. So it just means they're going to be staying in a different cabin and that they're just going to be with you at meals and stuff like that, and then you should be good to go. Hi, Mr. Fossil.
Greetings, Mr. Brovicast.
You just coming in to watch?
I am.
I like that. We support that. So, as far as the parent, if parents don't go, you have teachers in your cabins at night. The only thing worse than a parent in your cabin is a teacher in your cabin. We have to have some adult there so you guys don't die at night, because if not, it gets scary. But other than that, have parents go and you should be fine. What's that? You're going to write your question down to the end? Good thinking. What is camp? It's outdoor fun. We learned years ago that kids don't go outside. Some kids are unaware of what a tree is unless they see it in Minecraft. They're like, I chop them down all the time. Another kid's like, I don't play Minecraft. Are those the things we chop down in Fortnite? And the answer is yes. Now you get to see one live and up close. So this is a giant outdoor running around having fun kind of place. It is where you are going to get a chance to learn. It says it's 224 acres, which means nothing to you. It's gigantic. If we started our school and went north to that little roundabout and then kept going to like the next road and then went all the way to the highway and then past the highway and back, that's how big the area is. It's got a lake, it's got rivers, it's got creeks, it's got 2-3 different forests in it. It's got...
What's the difference between a river and a creek?
A river you can drown in. A creek you go splash in. Also 2 letters. And so that'll be what you're with while you are out there.
You drown in like 1 inch of water?
You have to really try for it. Not as much.
I broke my pencil.
Well, just have to sit there and chew on it then. You will not be with a teacher while you are there because you don't. We already learned at school you don't learn with teachers. So we're going to try something different. You are going to have high school kids who are going to be the ones who are teaching you. We bring back sophomores, juniors, seniors, and we spend time training them. They are the ones who are going to be teaching you the whole time you are there. What do we do? A lot. You are going to be, this is an example of a study group that you get to spend all day with, where you're going to have these 2 high school kids leading you around and a group of like 5 to 8 other kids, and that's where you get to spend the time. So it's technically school, but you're running around and learning all kinds of other things.
Laura Feeney.
I know, right?
She's 38.
Pay no attention to that. I know. Those pictures should be in black and white, but it's all right. And I have all these new pictures I could use, but I like the throwback.
It's a fantastic picture.
I know, I love the throwback pictures. So, you do have learning there. You're going to do science, math, social studies, English, but not like we have learning here. So, there is no sitting in a classroom or having to worry about a book or rent. Hi, son. You just saying hi?
Yeah.
All right, see you again.
Who's that?
He calls me dad, I call him son. You might not know this, but junior high kids are weird. I've just learned to accept it over the years. Whatever. So you will be doing science and learning, but a lot of it is more like the labs you do. Like your science is going to be, if a tree were to fall on you, how fast would you have to run before it crushed you? You have to sort of figure out the science. So there's going to be this sledding where you sled down this like tube in this black hole, and you have to figure out how fast you're going to be going down this black hole and stuff like that. And so you're going to figure out all the different... See, I make fun of him coming up, and he thought he was going to come in on the part where I make fun of him, but that's not until coming up later. So I thought he was coming in to see when I made fun of him. So that was Mr. Fossil. In a moment, you're going to see the part where I make fun of him coming up, unless he pops back in. But I should be safe. But we'll get there in a moment. And so you're going to be doing... adults. So you are going to be doing learning, science, and math, but not like we do here in classrooms. You're going to be sitting outside at like a picnic table under a tree, learning, talking with other groups and small groups and stuff like that. So it's technically learning, but not like our normal learning. Social studies, you're going to find out about like the Native Americans that were there that created this area. Language arts, you're going to write little things like, if the brown bear was chewing on you, how would it feel? And you get to like write about stuff like that. Or if the brown bear was chasing your group, who do you sacrifice first and why? And you have to go through there and talk about that.
I would too.
So we do activities, like there's going to be canoeing while we are there, where you're going to go out into the water on canoes. If you are scared of water, they have these things that you wear called a life vest that prevents you from drowning. You just bob in the water. If you are still petrified, you just stay on the beach and then you can watch everyone else canoe, and that's absolutely fine. Do kids ever fall in? Are kids dumb? So the answer is yeah. Do they fall in very often? No, it's rare. Maybe once every couple of years we have one that sort of gets wet. The canoes are really hard to tip unless you have a really special child in your group, which does happen. There are some pretty special children out there, but it doesn't happen often. We go canoeing regardless of weather. If it's hot and 80 degrees out, we go canoeing. If it's snowing and 30 degrees, we go canoeing. If it's pouring rain, we go canoeing. Snowing, we go canoeing. Frozen lake, never happened. We would still go canoeing though. You would just go across the top of the ice. So no matter what, you get a chance to go canoeing while we are out there. My favorite year? So normally I like it when it's nice and sunny because I go out there canoeing with the kids. We just go around and have like little canoe races, which is great. But one year we went and it was like the cold and snowy where like the wind was blowing sideways and it was blowing in this direction. And they have a little dock that's just outside the picture, and that's what you would take when you get in the canoe, and you go out along the dock. But as soon as the kids got out, the wind just blew them straight against the side of it, and their canoeing was going, ah, thunk! And they would just go along the edge until they came all the way around. We'd push them out there, and like, whee! And they would just, it was just a giant circle. Every once in a while it happens, and we have fun little stories that connect to it, stuff like that. You'll see in the background, by the way, that right there is a covered slide. You get to go down and stuff like that. And there's stories, I'll tell you guys about that later, because you can get hurt, but it's fun. We have these underground slides you get to go through, and there's 2 of them because you get to race each other, and that's where the math comes in, because you have to figure out how fast, velocity, or I don't know, some mathy term, and you have to figure out stuff like that, and you go down on a sled, because then you get to figure out about friction, which is like science, and you get to figure out how fast you go. At the bottom of it, it goes out, if you go too fast, there's the river right there, and then you get to firsthand find out the difference between a river and a creek. Don't worry, you don't sink because you're on a sled, and everyone knows sleds float. And so then you should be good as far as that goes, and you get to race each other going down little dark pits. Oftentimes teachers will go over there and race you guys too, and we talk trash because it's fun. You also will be flying these giant balloons, and you're going to make your own hot air balloons in your group. You don't get to ride in the hot air balloon because they're not that big, but you do get to inflate these big balloons, and then that's where the science comes in. You have to like test the weather, and then figure out what direction that they're going to try and fly. That's how you test the weather. And then you get to see they try to go over like the trees. You try to figure out where they end up going and stuff like that. If you see here, they have like little hats on and stuff like that. Oftentimes, your study groups will have themes. Where the high school counselors will have you guys all wear like, they'll buy you guys like superhero shirts, they'll buy you guys giant sombreros or whatnot. Sometimes they'll end up having battles against other ones, and you'll have like throwdown gang fights between the different groups that are out there. Sometimes they'll have you get, good job, it'll finally come in handy for you. Sometimes they'll have you guys like have songs or dances or competitions and all kinds of things like that. The problem with using giant fire thing to light up balloons that are made of paper is sometimes fire and paper don't go well together. And every once in a while, one of the balloons becomes jet powered. And then you get like the jet powered balloons, and we have like a fire extinguisher there. We have to put them out there, or whichever the closest kid is, we just throw you on top of it, and that helps put it out too. Most kids are kind of fireproof.
Yeah, who made that one?
It's not important, Mr. Ogle. Don't worry about any particular rumors you may hear that other teachers may tell about teachers that may or may not be setting balloons on fire, because other teachers like to spread rumors and make stuff up that some teachers tend to burn things. It's not important which teachers prefer to have jet-propelled balloons, because I like to see how fast. The teachers may like to see how fast they go. Pay no attention to that. Mr. Ogle in your Globetrotter shirt sassing me back there.
I told you.
I know, his Globetrotter's coming out.
I want him in here.
That's why Mr. Fossil came in. He looked at Mr. Ogle and he's like, you got my back over there. I knew what was happening. You also get a chance to do rock climbing. We have indoor and outdoor rock climbing. There are 3 levels of rock climbing: easy, medium, and squirrel. And if you do squirrel mode, you have to like scamper straight up the side of like a tree. It's pretty impressive. By the way, here you'll see one of the hot air balloons going right past them, because the hot air balloon launching is like in this area, and that's where it is. If you do it right, you get to aim your hot air balloon at the people climbing and try to hit them. So sometimes while you're climbing, you get to try and dodge hot air balloons. It's like your own video game. If you are good at climbing, you get to do squirrel mode, which is the one here. In the squirrel mode, you get to the top, there's a ledge you get to stand on. You'd be like, oh, the king of the world, ah! And you get to fall. But more importantly, this right here is a little chocolate owl. That's only for the squirrel kids. If you can get up to the top, you get to stand there and then turn around. You get to break off your piece of the little chocolate owl and be like, yeah, and then you get to fall to your death.
Is it sanitary?
It is. I mean, don't like that and like that. That'd be gross. But you can't die. There's a cable that connects you, so even if you fall to your death, it's just like death.
Yeah.
I mean, you might wet yourself, but that's a you issue.
Oh.
One of the nights we do square dancing, which no kid is prepared for, because what you think is square dancing is not what actual square dancing is. We work in like TikTok dances and stuff like that. There's things like the Cotton Eye Joe, and we do all kinds of normal-ish dances. If you are scared of dancing, you are welcome to sit off to the side, and I will make fun of you. That is your choice. We also never have anyone sit out, because once you actually see what's involved in it, and you see how much fun the high schoolers are having, we rarely have anyone sit out. Maybe one kid a year, and that's usually because they're injured. And like if you have a broken leg or something like that, then you can't really dance as much. But that'll be dancing one night. We have a professional storyteller who comes in, and he tells stories to the entire group on one of the nights while we are there. He also brings in props and has all these things that he brings in from the stories. One of the nights we do skits that your teachers and counselors put on to entertain you, and you get a chance to see all of these skits where we dress up in costumes. Some of us may or may not wear ladies' clothing while some of these skits, and it may or may not give you nightmares that last you for a long time. There are things that you may see during these skits that may cause you to take sharp sticks to your eyes. It's not important. And so we will have those skits that happen while you are there. One of the skits, we sacrifice a child. You won't see it coming until the last second, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, that kid, and then they get sacrificed. We do a lot in 3 days that we pack in. Is the school? Yes and no. It's school, but not school like you've ever seen it. This is that once-in-a-lifetime thing that you get a chance to remember. You are going to learn more on these 3 days than you probably learn in any other month of school. But it is not like your normal learning that you have. This is as close to school as you're going to get. Sitting outside in the sun at a picnic table, working with a bunch of other people on like a couple of problems or something like that. And so that is like as close to school as it's going to be. Do you guys know who our principal is here?
Yeah.
Do you know who the assistant principal is? So the 8th graders don't go to camp. They stay here. So because of that, Dr. Thorpe and Mr. Butts don't go to camp, because 8th graders have bigger issues than you guys do.
Yeah.
So they stay here to deal with them. Instead, the person who's going to be principal at camp is the oldest person we could find.
Mr. Foss.
That's where he comes in. And so he is technically the principal while we are at camp, because he looks like a rock. Told you. He's not here, so we're good to go. I thought I was going to have to change it. He was going to glare at me the entire time. And so the problem is with him being principal is he doesn't know you. So even though he's technically in charge, he is not going to be the main person that is there. The one who is in control of the heroes is that guy. He's in control of all the heroes. He deals with discipline and stuff like that. Those of you who know my school personality and how happy and friendly I am, that's because it's my school personality. If you make poor choices at camp, you're ruining my fun time. And you get to see a whole different version of me at camp, because I get to go grump mode on you. And no one wants grump mode from me there. Good news is, I rarely have discipline issues at camp. Typically it is Globetrotters and Stars. Don't get me wrong, I have heroes with issues. I have heroes with lots of issues. But for some reason, they normally do not manifest at camp. Typically it's the other teams that we get yelled at more. But, just so you are aware, things that I have done in the past when forced to. You have recess while we are there. Because again, we give you a chance to run around. You get like 45 minutes to run around and have fun, unless you make poor choices. If you make poor choices, I torture you during recess. And I have what's called the Stump of Doom. And the stump of doom is the stump in the middle of the recess area. Well, we call it rec time because you're big kids. And in the middle of rec time, you sit on the stump and you get to watch everyone running around playing soccer and volleyball and basketball. They also have the Gaga pit, the thing that you guys had at Sand Creek. They also have a store where you can buy candy and food. And you just sit there and watch them because you've made me grumpy. If you make me really grumpy, there's even a little area where you have to spend the entire day watching your group. Where you like see your group walking around having fun, and you just sit there. I've only had to do that like twice in the last 20 years. You have really got to commit to your turdism, and honestly, I just don't have kids that turdy this year, so I'm not too worried about it. If you spaz out at night and become that kid that has issues at night, we call your parents, and they have to drive the hour and a half up to come pick you up. If they refuse to come pick you up, Mr. Fossil has a car at camp. He gets to drive you home. And if you think an hour and a half in the car with your parents is bad, little rock man's going to come at you. So you do not want that to happen whatsoever. So make good choices there. If you get into a fight with your counselor, I believe your counselor every time. Because they are my high school kids that had to go through a rigorous training program, and I trust them. And 3 years ago, they were my 7th graders. Just like 3 years from now, you guys are going to get a chance to be my counselors. And when you become counselor, I will trust you over 7th graders. So if you come up to me and go, I have a video of my counselor hitting me, my answer is, oh, you're good at Photoshop. Because I am going to trust your counselor every time. So do not pick fights with your counselors. If you get punished at camp, it follows you back here to school. But for the most part, again, honestly, there's not issues at camp. Just like there's not issues at Disney World. Every once in a while, you're going to see a fight at Disney World that makes the news, but it's rare. It's the same thing at camp. People don't get in trouble at camp because you don't get in trouble when you're having fun. So it's almost never an issue, except for those kids who just complain about everything. Do we take charter buses? We did get a deal this year. We have charter buses. You may have seen them on the roads, or these big yellow ones, and we're going to get a chance to be taking those up to camp. So with the charter buses, the charter yellow buses, we're going to have 2 to 3 kids per seat. Just so you are aware, girls' buses are more crowded than boys' buses. Here's why. Girls pack more crap than boys do. And all of your stuff has to go on the bus. Girls, you take up more seats with random crap. Boys bring a Ziploc bag, and that's it. So they have more room to spread out. Now, the other side of that is, on the bus ride home, the girls' bus smells a lot better. The boys' bus, you need all that room for the stink to spread. Whereas on the girls' bus, it smells like flowers. So you have that trade-off back and forth where it's more crowded, but you can breathe. So it goes back and forth on that.
I like the boys' bus.
Can we wear hats? Well, now you can wear hats at school. So the reason I kept this in is you should bring a hat to camp. Because on those days where it's sunny, you do not want to get sunburned and it's bright outside. I highly recommend you bring a hat. Dress code? I don't even think we have a dress code here at school this year. I've seen what the 8th graders wear. I want to jab my eyes. So I'm assuming we don't have much of a dress code at camp. Except for one area. Shoes. You cannot bring Crocs, slides, or any kind of flip-flop. Now, you can have them in your cabin at night. You cannot be outside in them. Here's why. Because I was going to answer that. Because in this area, we have these things called woods. Woods are made of trees. Trees have branches. Branches fall to the ground. When they fall to the ground, they become sticks. Now, when you're out hiking and you have your open-toed shoes and your slides and you're walking along and toes meet stick, thunk, you now have an 11th toe that looks like it was made out of Pinocchio.
What if they're
And when
wearing
they-
Crocs
Yeah, what
that
if
don't
they're
have
like-
holes?
Yeah, still, and then when they drag you back to camp and you're screaming with your 11th toe, my first reaction is to laugh at you and call you a moron. And apparently teachers don't like that. So I do not let you go out. Even if you have these things that are called slidey things, the problem is when you're the special kid who gets left behind because your slides keep moving around on your feet and then you go running after your group and your slide goes flying and your next foot goes ka-thunk and you're like, but I had it now! And now we call you Pinocchio. So because of that, you cannot. If you show up Monday morning and I see you wearing slides, I'm going to say, get out your tennis shoes. If you go, I don't have any, I have not let kids go to camp before. And I've said, you're not going to camp because you cannot walk around without good shoes. So that is the only real dress code you have to worry about.
Mr. Brovicast.
Literally just do that in Riverhead.
I love my
Look,
class.
like that.
Oh, yeah,
It's called
right.
sport mode.
Still not caring. Does everyone go to camp? The answer being no and yes. Everyone who wants to go to camp goes to camp. The only people, we always have kids who stay behind, but again, behavior, which I don't have on the Heroes team this year. The other can be if your parents don't want you to go. If you want to go to camp and your parents say no, come talk to me. I am more than happy to go talk to your parents and fight for you to go to camp. If it's a thing that you want to do and they're like, no, I don't, I will do what I can to get you to go to camp. Do you have to go if you don't want to? No. It's like saying, do you have to go to Disney World? No. If you don't want to go have fun for 3 days, you can stay here. Well, what happens if we stay here? If you stay here, you do not go to your classes because they already have other preparations for that. So instead, you're going to go to our SGI room, which is where they had tutoring after school yesterday. It's like a big glass walled room on the way down to science. You spend 3 days in that room working on a packet because you have to do all the same work that the kids at camp do. You just don't get to have all the fun. So you just get all the work instead. And then you just stay here and then work on that packet for 3 days. What if I skip school for those 3 days? That's fine. The day you show up, they send you to that room and they give you the packet. What if I never come back to school? Then I win. I'm down a kid. So either way, you eventually show up and do it, or you just never come back to school. So that's what happens while you're gone. So if you don't go, you still do work. It's just you lose out on all the fun stuff. Do you get to pick your group? No, but you do get to have influence. And again, the more I trust you, the more of your friends you get to have in your group. When do you find out? Not until April. You will not find out until that week after spring break and before camp. 2 reasons for it. 1, I can't reveal groups until all permission slips are turned in. I can't even get every kid to turn in their homework. So the chances of me getting every kid to turn in permission slip before the end date is going to be tough. The other reason being 7th grade drama. I've learned over the years that you guys, whoever you're best friends with right now, you're going to hate next month. And the month after that, you're going to be best friends again. And it keeps changing. Everyone's like, I hate that person. We're the best friends. I hate them so much. And so I've learned to just wait till the end and then tell you. And then I only have 3 days to worry about your issues. Is the food good? I mean, it's not the best, but it's really good. We very rarely have kids complain about it overall. It'll be a set meal like lunch, dinner. It'll be, they know they're feeding kids. So it's aimed at kid food. So it'll be pasta or chicken nuggets, or it's going to be hot dogs or something like that. So they aim the food at you because we want you to eat. We also have salad bar, so if you don't like the food, you can instead go salad bar. In the mornings, they make a real breakfast, like with pancakes and bacon, or you're more than welcome to have cereal, and they have sugar cereal, like Cocoa Puffs and Fruit Loops and stuff like that. So they also have yogurt in the morning. So they have food. If you're a picky eater, I don't know, they have these things called trees, so you're welcome to pick your own. If you're a vegetarian, will you starve? No, you're in the woods. You just go by, find a tree you like, rip off some bark, and start chewing. I think that's how vegetarians work.
There's a salad bar.
Just kidding, there's a salad bar. So if you're a vegetarian, they have non-meat options, and you're welcome to eat that instead. Are the cabins nice, and how big are they? If you were to put a wall down the middle of my room, that would be about how big a cabin is. And before you freak out about size, realize all you're doing is sleeping there. All we need is room to put the 15 bunk beds and your little mattresses that are going to go on the bunk beds, and then give you your indoor bathroom, because you do have indoor bathrooms. You don't have to go find a tree. You also have shower stalls. So when you go showering, you have your own individual little shower stall that you get to go into. It's fairly nice. It's not air conditioned, but it's April at night. So you don't need air conditioning in Indiana in April.
Yes, you do.
It is during the day, yes. At night, no. You do have heat, so if it is cold out, we can heat it for you.
Okay.
So you're good as far as that goes. You don't have to worry about things like bugs, because again, it's April, and bugs just simply don't exist that much yet. So you should be fine as far as that goes.
Wait, are they capped?
If you take medicine, you're good. We have a nurse there who will give you your meds so that you don't end up dying, so you should be fine. Do you have free time? Yes, you have rec time. You have definite guaranteed rec time, unless you get in trouble, on both Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday is up to your group. If you get your work done, you have rec time. If you don't get your work done, you have work time. So it all depends on how well you guys have gotten your work done up till then. Things you have to bring, and I will cover this as we get closer to it, but stuff like you're going to bring your own sleeping bag. We give you a mattress, but you're going to get cold, so you're going to want a sleeping bag to help you out as far as that goes. And a pillow, so that you put your little head on something. Clothes, I will tell you what clothes to bring as we get closer. I will pay attention to weather, and I will tell you whether it's shorts weather or coat weather. Rain gear is Indiana. It's going to rain camp week. It always rains camp week because Indiana, it seems to rain all the time. So bring rain gear. Deodorant. You are going to stink. You are hiking for 6 hours a day, many miles on end. Even if you're a girl and you're like, I glisten, your glisten is going to stink. If you're a boy and you're like, I don't believe in water, you're definitely going to stink. So you're going to make sure you bring deodorant so you can stink less. I'll give you a packing list as we get closer. Dress code. Ladies, you're only there for the 2.5 days. If you look at the desk in front of you, if you look at the smaller part of the desk and you draw a line down, that's about how big your suitcase is going to be that you get to take with you. It is not a big suitcase because you are not taking a whole lot there. You only have to pack another 2 days of clothing. You're wearing Monday's clothes. You only need Tuesdays and Wednesday's clothing. So you should be good. Boys, you need to pack more than a Ziploc because our main issue with boys is Monday they'll show up with like a little Ziploc and I'm like, where are your clothes? They're like, uh-huh. And I'm like, where are your clothes for tomorrow? Uh-huh. And I'm like, Wednesday? They'll go, turn them inside. No! You need to bring actual clothes because, again, stank.
Yes, Samson.
Things you cannot bring. We do not let you bring soft drinks. You can bring food. You can bring all the chips and candy that you want. That is fine. The reason you can't bring drinks is 2 parts. One, if you spill food on the ground, we can take a broom and just go shuk shuk and it's gone. If you spill a drink on the ground, it sticks and ants come in. And then kids get complained like, I'm all itchy. And so we don't want that to happen because it's much harder to clean up. The other issue is we don't want kids downing 4 monsters at 10 p.m. and being like, throughout the entire night. So because of that, we try to limit your caffeine because we've learned the hard way on that one. But candy, if you want to eat candy until your tum-tum hurts, that's a you issue. Knives, you cannot bring a knife, even if you happen to be a Boy Scout. Even if you're afraid of the Indiana brown bear, and you're like, well, what if the Indiana brown bear comes at me? If it comes at you, and you pull out your knife, that ain't doing anything. The bear's going to laugh at you when it comes at you. If the Indiana brown bear comes towards your group, what you need to do is run. You just need to be faster than the kid next to you. As long as you are faster than that kid, you're good. If you're afraid that you're not faster than that kid, what you're going to do is this. And then when they're on the ground, you're faster than a kid on the ground. So you should be safe. Do not bring your school-issued iPad because we'll take it from you. I will tell you now not to bring your cell phone, and you are going to ignore me. But this is my way of legally, parents at home, I am now telling them not to bring their cell phone. Here's why. One, it has to be waterproof because you are going to get wet. There is every chance you are going to fall into a creek, or you are going to fall into the lake, or it is going to rain on you and you are going to get soaked, or you might fall and get it broken one way or another from there.
I swim with my phone.
Can I put it in a bag? Can I put it in my cabinet?
You do not have to make up the work when you're gone. We cover all of that for you. You do not come back to homework. You are good there. You have time in the morning. We wake you up 6:30 one morning, 7 a.m. the next morning. There's a bedtime of 11 a.m. one night, 10:30 the next night. And if you need more time than that, you're welcome to have more time in the morning, and that's fine. You can play basketball, gaga. There's all kinds. You'll have free time. They have a store. If you bring money, you can spend money there. And you can buy food. You can buy drinks. They have soda. So if you're going through caffeine withdrawal, bring money, and you can buy a soda, and you can drink it, and that's fine. You can also buy shirts and stuff like that while you're there. And Now, if you have questions, I can answer them for you.
I've literally been wanting my hand in front.
Good job, Mia.
Couldn't we just couldn't we just leave the our phone in the cabin?
You can, but they don't lock. So in case a bear comes in and wants to use it, you're out of luck. So anything you leave in your cabin, other people can get to.
You can hide it.
Michael,
Oh yeah, I have like so many questions.
pick one.
What?
Right, Gavin,
What time do we get back?
on that Wednesday,
Like, what time are we? Like, in the
like
morning?
in the afternoon, like 2:30 in the afternoon. Michael,
I'll bring my Switch and my Xbox.
Oh my gosh.
Just my Switch.
You're gonna be
It's
a
probably
TV.
or just my Switch.
sure.
At night.
Just don't get it broken. That's fine.
I
Oh, and also there, because we're in the woods, there's no real cell phone service, so keep that in mind too.
Wait,
So,
so
all right.
your cellular data doesn't work?
What's that?
So does your cellular data not work?
No, because where we are in the woods, there's just no service. I mean, it drives me nuts too, and it drives my wife nuts because she can't contact
I
me.
play some no Wi-Fi.
Do they
game.
You
have credit card scanners?
might be able to have Wi-Fi at meals. So at meals, those of you worried about your snap streaks, you should probably be safe during that time. Robin?
My word load is so.
Can we bring headphones?
Yeah, that's fine. Other questions? Come see me, and I'll happy to answer them for you.